filthy.
Hello and welcome to Midlife Crisis, another one of our traditionally just explosive Let's Play videos. The people have chimed in and they've demanded that we do more of this, Uncle Bob. They've demanded it.
The last episode we did, you made fun of me by referencing Ally McBeal.
Yes.
So maybe more of that content. And also, joke's on you, Ally McBeal married Harrison Ford. So.
That's true. She married Han Solo, a man who is, I think, 30 years her senior. And that's fine. He's Han Solo. It's cool. I don't judge relationships. Okay, that's not me. That's not for me. That's not for me.
He's
okay?
also Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's important to say. So yes, the episode you're alluding to, which was the previously released one, was you playing a Japanese exclusive game called LSD.
Yeah.
Which is a dream simulator. You want to go give me a out of 10 mark review on that? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, from what I actually played,
yeah,
and
the 14 minutes or 20-ish minutes that you played. Yeah.
I would say honestly, it would be like a 2.5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's almost no gameplay. We didn't hear any sound. I have no idea what we were even doing.
Well, you're not going to hear any sound on this one either, and that's only because of technical issues. But that's what we do, Uncle Bob. We're here to provide the sound. In LSD, I didn't turn the sound on because it's just footsteps. Is all you hear. Is just hear pop, 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 for as long as you play the game. So
maybe the game's a 1 then. If I would have heard the sound.
So for me, it's a 10 out of 10. No two ways about it. No two ways about it. LSD is a weird ass game, and it's all the much better when it is enhanced, if you know what I mean. All my homies in the Lakeland Village, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
No, that's fine. Look, it's not your cross to bear. But we're going to continue that theme. I'm going to make you play another weird Japanese game that you've never heard of. Again, on the original PlayStation 1. This one has a little bit more, we'll say, cult fanness behind it.
Okay.
It is much more of a real video game, so that's going to help you too.
All right, we're off to a good start.
And
better start.
Most importantly, this game that you would buy with money is nothing more than a commercial for a product that we also enjoy here in America.
What 90s sitcom would you compare this game to?
There is no comparison, friend, for we are playing Pepsiman for the PlayStation 1. Have you heard of Pepsiman?
No.
So you're not even the character of Pepsiman?
No. While you were setting all this up, you had Primal Rage going on here.
Yeah.
And if we're not playing Primal Rage, I'm going to be disappointed.
Well, prepare to be disappointed.
Damn it.
So, okay, here we go. It sucks that I can't get sound to work right now, but it is what it is. So I'll just do some narration. That moron over there is the late 90s interpretation of an American through the eyes of a Japanese Pepsi drinker.
Yeah.
So this guy just wants his Pepsi, like the Suicidal Tendency song. And he's chugging it down in his sweet painter's cap. God, man, I miss full motion video cutscenes.
What year are we in here, Brian?
I want to say this is, well, I think we'll find out the title screen, but I'm guessing this is 98. Somewhere between 98 and 2000.
That's way later than
so
I thought.
Pepsi Man is a character that was like the mascot of Pepsi in Japan, and he's a superhero that wears a full body suit. He's a big, tall, buff dude. Even his head is covered. Okay, I'm really into this premise so far.
Oh, dude, this game is awesome, dude. And so all you do, it's basically a runner game. You run forward and dodge obstacles, and the whole goal, and at the end of every stage, is to get to your Pepsi. Ahead of his time.
Very much, yeah, exactly. Think of all those smartphone games, like
Infinite Runners,
and all the Sonic games that steal hundreds of thousands of dollars from parents. So we'll go again. So this is not uncommon at all. To see all this English in a Japanese-only game. Let me ask you this, because I didn't ask you this on LSD. Have you ever in your life played what is known as a import video game?
God, that's a good question. I actually don't think so, unless it was some kind of gimmicky thing where there wasn't a camera rolling, and you were like, "Hey, check out this thing that I got." But I don't.
That's not something that you ever like. So as a kid reading video game magazines, the imports, as they were called, that was like, the forbidden zone to me. Like it was always like the most exotic thing that I could possibly do is to like spend, double the price of a game to have it imported in.
The difference between you and me is that I read those same magazines and I would see that.
But to me, it was like when you're playing a video game and there's like an invisible wall.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need to know what's out there. You just.
But you do need to know what's out there. That's the difference between you and I.
I know,
That's why I own.
Like, oh, this is the wall. Okay, well, I guess I got to turn around and then just go back.
You're like, wait, Japanese? I don't understand that language.
Yeah, it's like, why-
I'll just not play these things.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the exact logic.
Yeah. So that didn't happen to me. I was the opposite. I was enamored with this shit as a kid. Still am enamored with this stuff as a grown man. One of the things that I passionately do as a gamer is go out of my way to explore weird old stuff that I missed out on, or like games that, like Pepsiman is a perfect example. I'd always heard of this game, never got to play it. And now that I can, I've played it a lot because it fucking rips. So I'll start this one off, and you can see how it's done. And then I'm even going to do this for us here to enhance our here on the couch, our enjoyment of it, meaning I made it full screen. Look at him. He's Joe American.
Well, what's amazing is that this footage looks like it's 1987.
Yeah.
So you're telling me the game came out in the late 90s. That's surprising to me.
Yeah, it's like I said, 98 to 2000, I think, maybe even 97. So this is in English, the voice acting, by the way. And that's why you have the Japanese subtitles at the bottom. Mm-hmm. He's basically just telling him, like, hey, Pepsi Man, there's Pepsi in the street, and I need you to go collect it and put it in the truck.
We absolutely do not need sound if you keep doing that. We do not need sound for the game.
Hey, Pepsi Man, my livelihood depends on how fast you can run. Please? My wife told me she would leave me if you don't get the Pepsis back in the truck. Are you familiar at all with I kind of don't want to say it because I want to play it on this thing. If I say Sneak King, do you know what that means?
Yes.
Okay.
And so you don't remember this. While I was in law school, I came to visit you for a weekend, and I was like, Brian, I'm so burned out from law school. I don't care what you put in front of me. It can be anything. And I'm just going to sit here and watch you do it.
Sneak King.
And you're like, okay, guys, sounds good. Sneak King, we're playing this game.
Yeah.
And I think I fell asleep watching you play it that night.
That's not my memory. My memory is you like putting your hands on your head like a WWE fan, being like, "Oh my god, this is the coolest thing." No, you did probably fall asleep. I'm not doing well because I'm not paying attention. I'm trying to be a ham. So anyway, as you can see, I'm running through backyards to get my precious Pepsi.
Yeah.
Dodging obstacles.
So it's almost reminds me of Paperboy a little bit.
Good, yes, good eye. Oh fuck, I forgot how to. You have to slide under so it's square. So X is jump, square is that slide. This first level is a cakewalk, by the way, and yes, that is a classic B&E that we just committed in that house.
That reminds me of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes. Oh, yeah, good call. So now I have a trash can. When the trash can is on, the controls are opposite. So right goes left, left goes right, because of course they do that. You're blind. And as you see at the top of the screen, we have a timer. So you have to get to the end of the level, like an old arcade racing game. You got to get to the end of the level before the timer.
And get all your Pepsi on the way.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, the bush got rid of your trash can.
It did. Ah, damn it. Oh, God. Oh, I think he broke his cervical next. Oh, no. No, he's fine. And you have these checkpoints here. So if you do bite it, you get to start at those checkpoints, which is nice. So this throwing garbage in the middle of the street while I'm trying to collect my unopened Pepsi cans. The irony is palpable.
I know. It's like, what kind of neighborhood is this?
A great one. It doesn't look like I'm gonna win this one, so I'll hand it over to you and you can give this a sample. But yeah, so this game was it's one of those meme-y internet.
Whoa.
Oh, I died in the checkpoint. That's what happened there. Or the timer went down, and so I'm back at the checkpoint. Yeah, Pepsi Man kind of got made popular because of when the internet discovered and then later rediscovered the game. They were like, "Wow, Pepsi Man is a thing," and so a lot of people kind of went off to the races, turning it into a meme. There we go. That's the end of the stage. And then watch this. This is what it's all about. Got to that Pepsi machine. Even though I just collected like 60 cans of Pepsi, now I get to actually drink one.
There's no Coke Man game, is there? Maybe that's a different game.
Yeah,
like LSD.
That's a different game. That's a different game, chock full of sadness and lies.
Get Pepsi. Hey, you did pretty good.
Yeah, 88 out of 100. Okay, so full disclosure, I don't think I've ever gotten past this next level, the second level here.
You never beat this level.
Maybe this one. There's a level where the perspective changes and you see his face and he's running towards the screen. down a big like San Francisco hill, and that's the level I haven't beaten. I do think that takes place after this one. So yeah, this game, like, it's fun. It's a fun game to play. It's very weird, obviously, as you can see. But yeah, its sole function is to sell Pepsi to thirsty Japanese people.
I would like to see like some charts that show like the market share of Pepsi increased like 10% after the release of this game.
So
this marketing campaign.
As I understand it, Pepsi Man was a very successful marketing campaign in Japan. Like he was Hulk Hogan 87 over for a good amount of time. What's funny to me is like we never got Pepsi Man. If you go back to like some of the marketing in the 90s, like, I mean, okay, I get it. Yeah. Cindy Crawford sells Pepsi. Sure. I understand that. But you know, dollars to donuts, there's a lot of pretty women out there, and Pepsi Man is way more interesting to me.
The entire 90s was the Taste of a New Generation campaign.
Yeah.
Right. And they tried a whole bunch of different things related to that.
But
Pepsi Man was not one of them.
No, it wasn't. But he was pop, and I don't know if Pepsi Man was in any other like marketing territory, but obviously it was in Japan. I'm assuming maybe it was in other places too. Maybe Europe would be just a blind assumption, a blind guess there. Pepsi related. Have you watched that documentary on Netflix about the Where's My Jet Pepsi? I believe is what it's called.
Oh, my wife watched that. I'm aware of the issue because it's a legal issue.
Yes.
So the case and all that. In fact, I studied that case in law school.
That
but
they
I'm not
say
aware of the
in the series they talk about how that case was such a okay. So here's that stage, the part of the stage I was talking about. In the documentary, they talk about that. Like one of the lasting things about the case is that it basically it made laws happen.
So I'll explain this real quick while you try to get further in this
survive,
game than you've ever gotten in before in your life, because that's great. So Pepsi had a campaign in the early 90s where you could buy bottles of Pepsi and you would get points on the caps. But then they had this gimmick where instead of having to buy Pepsi, you could also just buy the points directly. And I have no idea why they set it up that way, but they did. And then
I know why they did that. Real quick to jump in. Kool-Aid Points was massively popular.
Oh.
For smokers, Camel Bucks were massively popular.
And the Marlboro.
And the Marble Miles. And in every one of those programs, that was standard issue. Like if you were a few points off of like that sweet Marlboro bomber jacket that you wanted to buy, you could pony up some cash.
There's some amazing pictures online. First of all, Brian's not exaggerating. Google Marlboro bomber jacket. And if you want to know what like the coolest person that your parents knew looked like in 1987 or whatever it was, like that'll be the indication.
Dude, I had a buddy in elementary school and middle school, and his dad was a chain smoker, and his brand was Camel. And I remember one time at his house, I opened up like a cupboard in the kitchen to get a snack or something like that. I did it. Hey, and while vamping. Yeah. Anyway, I opened up this cupboard, and there was like couple $1 billion in Camel Bucks. Like I'm not kidding. It was the whole cupboard was like just stacks and stacks and stacks of these Camel Bucks, and they made me think of like I think this guy smokes a lot of cigarettes, and that's probably not a great thing.
You could.
Oh, here it is. This is. I think the next part coming up is the. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to run away towards the screen from this giant rolling Pepsi can, and this is where I have not survived.
Okay. So while we watch Brian die, I'll now say that our house was decked out in Marlboro Miles goods. That included minimally, I think, a purse and like a blanket or something like that.
Hey, Robbie, can you go get a beer out of the Marlboro fridge? It only cost me 75,000 Marlboro Miles.
I killed him.
Hey, Robbie, can you go get gas in my Marlboro Chevrolet that I got for 100 million Marlboro Miles?
See, I can't do it. Can't beat that fucking level. I know you want to get through this story, this Pepsi jet thing. I know you want to, from the lawyer's perspective.
Okay. Deep breaths. So, our home was decked out of Marlboro Miles, and a competing company named Pepsi Cola was running its own promotion for what were these called? Pepsi Points, Pepsi
Yeah,
Bucks,
I think
whatever
it's
they were.
Pepsi Points.
Okay. And you could just pay cash to buy Pepsi Points. So Pepsi, to highlight the marketing of this event, released a commercial, and they advertised on the commercial that you could purchase a then brand new Harrier jet for something like 20 million Pepsi Points or whatever. So some kid, or I guess guy, family, whatever. I thought it was like a kid and his dad or whatever.
It's like a young adult.
Young adult,
and it was
okay.
his super rich adventurer buddy.
And they put together enough money to just purchase the Pepsi Points required to buy the Harrier jet. Harrier jet normally sells, at least if you're the United States military, for like $20 million.
Yeah.
And they would have bought the jet for something like $800,000 or something like that. It was a fraction of what it actually cost because the Pepsi marketing people didn't actually think it would be taken seriously.
Well, one thing that an important tidbit that you're leaving out is that when the commercial that offered the jet originally aired, it was just a statement like, yeah, you can even win a Harrier jet. Yeah. Then they re-aired the commercial with a little tiny like lower third that said like, this is not an actual real thing.
Oh, the disclaimer.
Yeah. But the disclaimer was added after the fact that this guy tried to buy the Harrier jet, and there was which is so funny that this even happened. Like Pepsi kind of realized that Pepsi Legal realized marketing had totally fucked up. And the way they presented the offer, like couldn't, and this is why this is a famous case that is taught in law schools. Here, you give this a shot. X is jump, square is the slide, left and right is to move.
All right, so just
push circle to that. So in Japanese PlayStation games, circle is the go for it button, and X is back.
Circle gets the square.
Circle gets the square. Thank you very much. Yeah, so they offered the dude, I think $2 million to just go away, and he was like, he thought about it.
I did not know that part.
Yeah, he thought about it, and then was
should have taken it.
Oh yeah.
If I was his lawyer, I would have told him to take it.
Well, I think at the time he did have a lawyer. It was a young lawyer, and he was so interested in where this legal path was going to end up that he was just like, no, you should try to fight it. And at the end of the day, you might get a Harrier jet. So
if you're independently wealthy, then yeah, maybe you think that it's worth gambling $2 million.
Well, that was
$20 million.
The money guy was independently wealthy, and he could afford to do it to a point. At a certain point, he did say, hey, okay, we got to cut our losses here. But yeah, that guy could have walked away. It was either $1 million or $2 million just to go away. And he was like, no, I don't feel right about this. If you offer me something, you better honor your word, Pepsi.
Well, that's maybe what he should have done, because he lost on appeal, and it is now case law in the U.S. But as a practicing attorney, I would have absolutely advised that kid the entire time to take almost any offer that was presented to him, because there's no way that this was going to pass muster in the courts.
Yeah, and it's stupid too, because like they would have, the amount of money that they spent on the points, like they would have profited from that. So it's like,
yeah,
they just literally threw money away. But hey, that's what cool rich people get to do is play legal games like that, whereas generationally poor people like me can't afford fucking sleeves. So there you go.
So you play Pepsi Man games.
I play Pepsi Man games instead. Exactly. Okay, so remember your control is
left is right now. Oh, yeah, it is going to take some getting used to.
Yeah. Oh, right into the pit.
Well, it was. Off to such a good start too.
I love the style of this game too, like how it's got the 2D sprites, as well as all the polygonal stuff. At this time, like PlayStation games were, a lot of that sprite stuff was out of vogue, because Sony themselves wouldn't allow it on their systems. Sony of Japan was a lot more lenient. That's why the Japanese PlayStation library is full of a lot of really cool, weird 2D games, and the American one was not. Sony of America, they were total pricks about releasing 2D games for the first 3 or 4 years on the PlayStation. And that it kind of carried into the PS2 as well.
I will tell you, legitimately, this is my favorite of the games that you've shown me on these.
Oh, dude, this is a fun game. Like all the way around, this is a fun game.
Yeah, I loved Paperboy. I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually having fun with this. Not kidding.
This clearly would give a 10 out of 10 if this was Dr. Pepperman. Obviously, you'd be playing your favorite game of all time if this was Dr. Pepperman.
Is there a sequel? Can I fund the sequel?
Dude, can we? Let's just ask Dr. Pepperman, or we'll ask Dr. Pepper the company if we can make Dr. Pepperman.
All right, first level.
Nailed it.
I don't know if we're done with the content, but I want to keep playing this a little bit
No,
longer.
we're good. We're gonna keep playing. We're gonna keep playing because it's a good game.
I want to say Pepsi Man makes another video game appearance too in a fighting game. I may be getting that confused with something else, but I want to say Fighters Mega Mix for the Saturn has Pepsi Man in that game as a fighter as well.
If we would just look at like crazy video games that include mascots.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like Yo Noid, and then there's this, and then there's Sneak King.
Yo Noid is a criminally underrated and overlooked NES game, by the way. I used to rent Yo Noid all the time. I love that game, and it's a Capcom game. With if you know anything about NES, Capcom NES games were like right up there with like Konami. They were some of the best third-party games you could get.
So go ahead and rank them, Brian. Rank the mascot games.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot more than I think you even realize there are. There are 3 Chester Cheetah games. There is an unreleased Fido Dido sprite game.
I came to the right man.
Yeah.
This question too.
There's of course Pepsi Man. There's 3 or 4 Burger King Xbox 360 games that came out in 2006. Of those, Sneak King is by far the best. What else is there? There is
any McDonald's games?
Many. There's Treasure, beloved hardcore game developer Treasure, who made Sin and Punishment and Gunstar Heroes and Ikaruga and Radiant Silvergun, made a Ronald McDonald action platformer that's really cute and fun and super colorful for the Genesis. And then there's MC Kids for the NES. There's even I want to say there's even a McDonald's, like, you know, like the Fry Kids and all that stuff. There's like a PC adventure game that uses all those characters too. Yeah, I mean, there's that's like a whole subgenre of games. Is like you know, real world product mascot video games.
No, Brian, I'm in the zone.
I get it. You're Pepsi Man. So I'm trying to think of another like modern game that has the same kind of mechanic. And I can't think of any off the top of my head. Can you think of any of like an auto runner, like segment of a game or whatever? That's mine. I'm taking this away from you.
A modern auto runner that has no. Well, I mean, not other than the mobile.
Well, it's funny. We just did an episode about Uncharted, and like it kind of reminds me of this. Like, there's segments in the game where Nathan's like running away from stuff behind him.
Oh yeah.
So let's just say Uncharted, the series, is fully inspired by Pepsi Man. Makes sense to me.
Neil Druckmann is a 10-year-old. It's like, man, just $1 more and I can rent Pepsi Man.
No, he'll have to import it from Game Cave in New York.
Yeah.
Boom, look at that. That's perfect. That was a perfect transition.
You're really like showing off here.
Well, it's all coming back to me. I've definitely put my time in on Pepsi Man. No! Right when I compliment myself, I bite the dust. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take it. We'll quit as soon as I fall down one more time. Oh wait, we didn't. Yeah, I got a skateboard. We didn't get the skateboard the last time around. I somehow missed it.
Oh, so now you get to go even faster.
Yeah.
Oh, hacks, Brian.
Yeah, all the hacks. So I think it's safe to say that between LSD and Pepsi Man, Pepsi Man is the runaway winner of the 2 weirdo games I showed you. This is
absolutely the full house of Let's Play games that you've shown me.
This is the silver spoons of Let's Play. Rick Schroeder. He's a different cat these days.
Yeah.
But who isn't? Okay, anyway, I'm going to take it here. That was Pepsi Man.
That game that's great.
It's a great game.
Okay, how can they play this game, Brian?
You kind of can't. You can go on eBay and try to buy it.
Go on YouTube and watch videos.
You can watch our video and enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you own a copy, and I'm sure you do, there are many resources online where you can download your legal backup of Pepsi Man, because we know you own the physical copy and you're legally entitled to do that. So that would be the way I recommend playing Pepsi Man. Other than that, or buying a copy, because the packaging looks cool. Like, it has like this super weird futuristic superhero that sells you Pepsi on the cover.
They should have just did like a profile picture of the guy from the video.
Yeah, just him on the cover.
The everyman.
Yeah. How you like Pepsi? I do too. Alrighty. Anyway, we'll leave it here. This has been a fun one. So thanks for watching, and I wholeheartedly encourage all of you to try Pepsi Man, because it rules. And yes, tell a friend, like and subscribe, all the YouTube things. Do all the YouTube things.
All the things.
Please and thank you.
All the things.
So much.